Tumblr that you're in it. At least I'm BA. At least that's the truth.
Well, no, and I think starting off on the truth is a good place to start, right? I mean, 100%.
You fucking hit me with some hard shit. You're like, such we're on the truth.
Everybody, before we get too far into it, since we are on the truth, I want to give a shout out to one of our unofficial sponsors, Deschutes Brewing. You always know what you're going to get with the local craft beer, fresh, locally sourced ingredients. So appreciate you guys for not sponsoring us yet, and we'll see you down the road. But no, I like, right?
I'm trying to be funny. I'm like, and shout out. You're like, shut up. But go ahead.
No, we're starting off on the truth, and I just want to say for everyone tuning in, that's how it's always going to be. Whether I like it, Mike likes it, you like it, it's always going to be the truth, right? Hashtag real.
I wish we could cut that. It sounds so corny, but I love you.
Well, that's why I'm here. I'm the corny tagline sponsorship guy.
That's why it's no script, right? We ain't cutting it. The editing I do sucks anyways, but yeah. So as corny as that was, where were we at? The fuck? Oh yeah. So we should probably, I don't know, give some background on. Should we tell the story? Well, give us some background on who the fuck we are, or you are, me, and then we can kind of go with like how we met.
Yeah, I mean, my background's pretty straightforward. Fueled by a passion for making money and ADHD, ended up in sales. I've been doing sales for freight, where I found this guy. Aerospace, beer, manufacturing, you name it. Just a sales guy. Always making more money and trying to get better, and now I'm on a podcast.
Self-proclaimed podcast, but hey. So yeah, it's so weird talking, but anyway, so yeah, I been in logistics my entire career. Got out of college, and I actually took a job as a recruiter. It's funny is because they still follow, like some people that I work for at that recruiting job still follow me, and I'm still connected with. The worst fucking job of my life. So I did it's gonna be a little longer, but I got to give some context to this. So I had to do an internship. I double majored in public relations and broadcasting, actually. So that's 101 broadcasting, talking to the mic. But no, so I had to do an internship. So it was like North American Breweries was the internship, right? So basically, it was the most killer job, right? That's the summer. One summer, I got $5,000 a week to go around promoting at bars, like 100 bars, dude. $5,000. I had American Express. Bro, we just got lit up, being my boys. But I had a serious girl too, but that didn't matter. She was partying because she was going into like PA or something, going back up to school. But anyways, so then real life hit. They couldn't afford me or what they were going to pay me for my internship to get, bring me on board as like an employee. I was like, they can't pay me really. Right. So took a recruiting job. Dude, I fucking hated it. Like, I think it was more the atmosphere. I hated it. I just hated it. And I didn't know what to do, man. She wasn't my fiance yet, but my fiance, soon to be fiance, she was like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, I'm a fucking loser, right? It's like she's in PA school. I'm sitting over here fucking working as a recruiter, hating my life. I quit. So I quit and I become a bar manager, basically, or promotions manager. So one of the clients that I worked with through my internship hired me on, paid me $55,000. I was like, okay. She said, you can be a promotions manager. I was literally a bar manager. And the worst part about it is I've never been in the restaurant industry. I did that for 3 months. And then I ended up getting a random call from this guy named Chaz. Shout out Chaz for Worldwide Express, dude. And after my first field ride, I was like, to one of my biggest mentors, I was like, yo, Sean, so you're telling me we were cold calling. I was like, you're telling me this right now. You make over 6 figures. You make 6 figures. He was like 26. You make 6 figures. And all I got to do is walk through doors and meet with owners and save them money on their shipping. We're not charging them anything. And he's like, yep. I was like, fuck it. Sign me up. And then rest is history, but I'll speed the story up. So I spent majority of my career at Worldwide Express. I got into leadership at Worldwide Express. So the first 4 years I moved out to Wisconsin, started my own. We were franchise based out, but then we became corporate senior vice president of sales at Worldwide Express. Just so happened to be our franchise owner. So again, it was I got to see firsthand what a real merger looks like, because we acquired Unishippers at that time. So we were acquiring up other franchises, moved out to Wisconsin, ended up just kind of literally wanting to see what else was out there, pack my bags. I ended up cold calling Chris Capillas, wanted to do enterprise sales. I actually had another job lined up out there. Called up Chris and I was like, yo, I'll be in California in a week. I'm flying out. Let's have this meeting. And I bypassed the recruiter, which is probably not a good idea because she said it was going to take forever. But anyways, long story short, ended up in California and met my boy Connor. Lived with, dude, I was a fucking nomad, dude. Lived with, I had a sick setup too, man. I lived with that, but that's my career in a nutshell. Sold over $50 million in business. Now I run my own agency through Global Trans. Took a really big hit this year and lost about $2.8 million in 6 months. But again, we're looking to be on track, still roughly around like 4 million. I'm going to close the end of the year out with. But anyways, back to the cool story of California. Met this fucking fine young fella. I ended up sleeping on some rich widow's mansion for 2 months and
Koi pond.
Yeah, dude. Karen, shout out Karen. We love you. Dude, fucking, you see pictures. It was badass. Especially just being a single dude, living in a mansion. Literally, dude, it was so tight. It was so tight. She was dating the tennis coach, Rick, from Laguna Beach High School. Rick, dude, I guarantee he was definitely, dude, he was hippie. But anyways, then I met Connor. I was calling you Colin. Then I met Connor. I was just depressed. I just kind of, again, moved away from my family, never been away. Didn't really, she was renting her place out for like 30 grand in the summer. So I was like, fuck, I don't know why I just didn't get a place. I was thinking about getting a place. And then I would always end up just back at, dude, I was a nomad. I was a fucking nomad. I'd be like, I'd leave your house and then I'd be like, you'd be like, all right, you should probably get a place. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do Airbnbs. And then I'm like, nah. And then I'd be back on your fucking couch. No, mind you, I'm single as fuck and you're married.
Married in a tiny 1-bedroom in Burbank with a cat and a dog. And I think you were sleeping on like a $68 Big Lots futon.
Bro.
You didn't even fit on it. It was funny because your feet were over the edge. But my favorite part about that whole thing is when you first came out, and when I met you, and I'm like, oh, like where are you gonna live? You know, like oh, I'm in LA. It's like some place called like Newport Beach. Or,
yeah,
it was something like that. I'm like, that's in LA, right? I'm like, what? We're in Burbank. It's like 80 miles. I think your commute was like 2.5 hours or something crazy.
One fucking way, dude. I remember flying out there, meeting these dudes from fucking Craigslist. Shout out to Ian. Billy doesn't have it, but our whole plan was they put out this Craigslist poster like, dude, we're from Florida, Maryland. We're trying to fucking rage out one last year because we were all turning 30. We're trying to rage out one last year where it's not creepy. So I fly out, I meet Chris, whatever. My whole goal was to find a spot to live at that point, right? Of course, I end up fucking raging out with them that night. They're like, dude, Billy's going to hook it up. He's got a spot for you to live. Billy was living in this other mansion. There's a lot of like rich ass old people just letting people live with them. But he's like, you can stay here. Yeah. No, this was Newport at this point. Oh, yeah. He's like, you can stay here, but we're going to get a spot. So of course my ass is like, whatever. We end up getting pretty drunk. And somehow me and the other guy decide to go take a road trip. It's March Madness. We end up driving out to fucking Vegas. I get nothing done. I fly back home, pack my bags. I'm out the next day road tripping. Excuse me. And I get there and I'm like, it was just a shit show. Like you knew, like, even just the way my whole, like, I was not like, I'm ADD and I need to like, I couldn't even really use my strengths to my advantage because I was all scattered. I was getting shit done and I was doing good things, but it was just like the amount of effort I was like draining out of me. Like it was crazy. But shout out to fucking this rambling I'm doing. But like shout out to you, dude. I mean, you fucking raged with me. You had a wife. She let you go out and party. Like that's gotta be so fucking weird. Like this random. Fucking, but I'm not really like crazy in like people I feel like might think I'm probably this like outlandish person all the time, but I'm really not. But it's like still, it had to be tough.
At the time, it wasn't crazy at all. Like looking back with hindsight, because I still tell the story. I think Alex is still terrified. Shout out Alex. When we were going like 110, 120 on the freeway with a person that we just met. But I went to that.
Wait, what?
We went to that weird pop-up bar that had the little mini Austin Powers theme boom, the little Vern Troyers walking around. That was the weirdest experience ever. We ended up at like a Taco Bell. It was a strange night. But long story short, at the beginning, some guy I just met. Yeah, you can live on my couch for a few weeks. And like looking back, I'm like, yeah, I was married in like a 400 square
and you were gone too. Let me stay there without you.
We left. Yeah, we left. I knew you like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, yeah, you can stay at my house while I'm like gone for a week or two. But the best part, you haven't even gotten there yet. And no, you're not like that all the time. It felt like natural and normal. Looking back, it's like, wow, that was crazy. But in the moment, it just seemed normal. But this guy, everyone, Mike, on my couch, hanging out. We're roomies for a couple months, throwing my microphone. But it's like 11 or 11:30 at night. We had just finished cold calling a bunch of Shark Tank companies because we would do that. But all of a sudden, the guy just gets up. He's like, guys, I think I'm moving to Seattle. I'm like, oh, cool. When? Like, you want to pack or look at a place? Like, right now. I'm like, it's 11:30 at night. I'm like, how are you getting there? It's kind of far away. Drive. And we're just like, Mike, that's already been decided. There's no talking out of that decision. Guy throws his freaking one duffel bag in his car, rolls to Seattle. I get some picture. I wake up at like 7 or 8 a.m. I have some picture messages of homie in like Central California, stopped 2 or 3 times for a gas station, but drove straight from Burbank to Seattle. It was wild. Never saw him again. And now here he is.
Bro, I forgot about that. Like, I kind of was talking about it. Dude, that was so, I think about it now. I was like, yo, I'm resigning. And you're like, I remember I was living with you. I was staying with you. And I was like, yo, I'm out of here. And I was like, I got a boy up in Seattle. I just wasn't feeling it. And I remember, dude, it was so fun. That's crazy. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, you guys came home. You and Justine came home. And I think I went to the gas station. I came back, started packing some stuff. And I was like, yo, dude, I appreciate everything you did. I'm out of here. And I was like, dude, that is so trippy. Like, to think about, like, I haven't even been home. I wasn't home for like 3 years. I think about it, like, I've been home since, but like, I haven't seen my mom though at that point. Like, for almost even 2 years after that, I was just like, dude, I don't know, man. I think it was just I needed to just do what I needed that experience. I needed to just do me. And I think I always done that. But yeah, dude, that was, you still got that picture? I remember you took a picture. It was me, you, Justine.
Yeah. Somewhere on my phone or her phone, I popped up the other day in memories and I was like, dang, that's so wild. I think I sent you one of you and Layla too.
It even got wilder, man. Then I moved out. So the kid I moved in, the kid I came out here with, weren't even like great friends, right? Like, right. We worked with each other at the same company worldwide. We were close enough to where we met up at like conferences and stuff. And we would always like schedule at least one trip, me and him. Like, I went out that, 4th of July. I remember I drove out to San Diego. He was like that kind of friend, right? I ended up popping up on his couch, dude. And you know how that goes. I started a new gig. I was like, yo, I was like, I need to find a place. I stayed on his freaking couch. So I remember calling my mom. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? You have money. Like, what do you like sleeping on the couch? You're 31 at this time. You're a 31-year-old dude. And I remember I met this girl. Shout out to Lauren. We dated a little bit, but like, she was the one who was like, dude, I love strong women. It's got to be because I was raised by one. But like, I remember Thanksgiving. I met her off Hinge. We met up. I remember she goes,
shout out Hinge.
Yeah, be a sponsor, Hinge. What did she go? She goes, I walk in and I was like, where is he? And I look over and it's this fucking guy just dancing with 3 black women in a circle. And I'm like, I should probably leave. Anyways, we ended up still a good friend today. But I remember she came back. She's like, yo, where's your shit? Like, dude, she was like fit as fuck and like a boxer. So like she could beat my ass. I remember she comes up to Nick's, my boys, and she's like, yo, where's this shit? Talking about my shit. She goes, all right, today you are getting a place. And I was like, All right. And ended up, so shout out to you, Lauren, for fucking making me get a 400. I live downtown Seattle, Capitol Hill, paid $3,700 a month for like a 400 square foot studio, but it was all inclusive. It was like one of those, fuck it, we're talking, oh, this is what it is. But yeah, way too much money. I justified it as I got everything for free, cable, HBO. I'm like, I remember telling her, I was like, I get HBO for free. She goes, oh, okay, that justifies it.
Yeah. That's
so that's the long story. That's the longest story we've ever told. But dude, I had some fun. Dude, we had some fun. I mean, I was single. It was weird as shit. Like I'm like, I guess I'm all right looking, but I was surprised that like who wants to come back to with someone to like your house, like who you living with? Oh, some random dude I just met and his wife and dog.
Yep, good times. And my super obese cat. Shout out Sherpa Larry.
Yeah, she was the shit. But so yeah, that's the story of this friendship. That's like crazy, dude. We don't even really like realistic if you think about it. We don't have the length of time knowing each other, like truly knowing each other, but it's crazy like those type of memories or those type of like interactions. I feel like just expedite like growth with someone. I mean, you don't have to really know, like, you know what I mean?
Well, you don't know someone until you share the same jar of peanut butter with a spoon.
Ew, I've never done that.
No, Mike, I shared your peanut butter. You didn't know.
Fuck,
Kidding.
Dude, I'm getting so sidetracked, but I was like, do you remember that smoke show that I brought to that comedy night? She looked like that girl from like New Girl. Bro, that's what am I doing? I've got a fiance, but dude, what am I doing?
I
love my fiance.
The more exciting story of when you like cold call made a presentation, like you made a pitch deck to hit on some girl who worked on the floor above us.
Shout out, dude. She's my homie. That's what I love about being. I was raised by a woman. Like, if it ain't gonna work out, we're still gonna be homies. Like Emma, she is the shit, dude. Yeah, I made, dude. What did I literally, it was like 4 pictures of me, put it on her car, and I put something like, I was just like, yo, as douchey as this looks, I'm not as douchey as this presentation or whatever may appear. Dude, I ended up getting a text that night. We hung out that night. She was like, very clever. And I was like, man, my ego is way too high right now. But that was actually, dude, we that's crazy too, thinking about that. We ended up just becoming like super good friends. Like, we went on a couple of dates, but I ended up, she was like probably like my best friend out there besides you.
Oh, thanks, bro.
So
that's how we met each other. I guess, back on course here, Mike. What's course? Exactly. But that's a good point. What's the show about? People know they're gonna get truth. They know who we are.
I don't know, man. I mean, the show is what the title says. 2 dudes, no script, right? 2 dudes that are passionate about fuck passion. I don't even want to say passion. 2 dudes that are all that strive for greatness, and greatness can mean anything, right? Whatever greatness is to you, that are just chopping it up, talking about stories, that know a thing or two about scaling their own life and making some money and just having some fun. I'm tired of like the whole I don't know, man. It's like the same song and dance, right? And again, that's my own issues, right? I'm trying to stop saying I'm tired of it, because I can turn it off if I don't want to look at stuff like that, right?
Yep.
But again, dude, I mean, at the end of the day, I think I know we have a voice that should be heard and people can get some value from it. And I think that the whole structured of corporate is going away, but not going away. It's just being like pushed under a rug or disguised as, we're not corporate anymore, but I want to be able to give the real, this ain't corporate. I've learned from corporate. Here's some tidbits, and maybe you get some laughs along the way with value.
No, I like that. And I'm trying to say, stop saying that I hate things as much as you're trying to stop saying you're tired of things. I hate the term straight talk. But I
let's have some straight
talk.
You can't say straight talk anymore. You're canceled.
Oh man, I got us canceled halfway through our first episode. But no, I think that's what I'm hoping that this is, because much like you, I've lived in corporate, and to me, corporate is the epitome of bloat, going around long way of saying something that could be so straight. So I appreciate that. But back to how we met, a big piece of that and our cold calling Shark Tank and our late nights was hashtag Jewel, shout out.
I stopped. This is weed. This is weed.
Oh, there you go. Even better. But federal ban on Jewel, that was wild to see today.
When does that take effect?
Immediately.
They did that.
I think salespeople everywhere are trembling in their boots. No more order to be pulled off of store shelves.
Yeah, because more and more like young kids. But I tried to sell them. Remember that they had those pods, those mangoes, and they took the mangoes off. Dude, I remember juuling back then. I never juuled a day in my life. And I was like, I remember I came out to California. They're like, Dad, Midwest Mike. And I'm just like, why am I doing this? But
that's half the problem, I guess, that it's what they're saying. Well, I don't know who they are. It's probably a big tobacco play. I don't know. But
dog, the government will tell you anything.
And what they're telling is that the nicotine volume was like so much higher and more concentrated. But I think it all does stem back to like advertising to kids or something like that. So good. It's a thing that happened. It was in the news. And I know
I don't watch the news.
Sales culture is big on caffeine and nicotine.
I mean, one sec.
Technical difficulty?
No. Yeah, I drink caffeine, but like, dude, I mean, I don't know. I think people. It is you meant sales culture. It's like, it's based on this. It's like, you do what you. That's gonna go into a way too rant of a topic. So, anyways, dude, what do you want to talk about today? You want to talk about how people owe me money? You want to talk about?
Yeah, you know, I think I was subconsciously not bringing that up. But no, that's a big.
I posted on it.
Yeah, it's a big thing, and I was reading a couple years ago when I first started following Scott Lee. Scott, thanks for all the great free information out there. You're a gem. But he was saying like his biggest thing at the time, the rant that I caught, was if you have vendors and partners, pay your bills promptly, pay ahead, pay on time. I think the nugget of it was it's hard enough to be running a business.
Yeah, I'm not sitting there.
It's basically a massive fuck you to not pay your bills on time. And I know you're going through something similar right now. So what's going on with that?
I mean, I paid their bills. So it's already lost cause. But dude, here's what I thought about. You know, I thought about it a lot. I thought about it for some time now, and I could sit there and play the woe is me, right? But at the end of the day, it was my decision to do what I did.
What'd you do?
Loan them the credit. Kept letting it go. And it's like, dude, at the end of the day, it's my responsibility. I could have controlled that outcome by cutting it off sooner. So I talk about, let's hit on this. So like huge learning experience. I mean, I think that like, for me at least, I go through spurts of like, yes, I'm constantly learning, but I'm talking like true, like some shit happens where it's like I needed it to happen for a lot of things to just click to where it's like this 2021 are going into our 2022 has made me question so many different things and dropped me on my face from just how questioning like how shitty people are, right? From multiple levels, right? So it's like I needed this year to happen like that, right? So, but I thought about it and I was like, dude, at the end of the day, they're shitty people, but it doesn't matter. My mom kept saying it. She goes, you keep saying that, but you did it. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, listen, they're shitty. We get that, but you let that happen. You learn from that and then move on. But I was like dragging it on. Like I was letting it like eat. Like my biggest strength is my biggest weakness, dude. I wear my heart on my sleeve, right? And you know, it's hard to like, so anyway, so yeah, so dude, it was just two companies and it just blew my fucking mind, man. It's like, but again, you know, I spent more time, I got lawyers, everything's written but you know how that goes, dude. It's like, I don't want to deal with that shit. Shout out to Big Mike, dude. Smallest customer I have. He knows it. he's not even, he's more of a friend, dude. He was the one who was like, yo, dude, you're running 100 miles a minute. Let me help you. And he fucking helped me slow the fuck down. Cause I was just like banging it myself, dude. I was like, pay me like it got to the point where it's like, I was like, pay me my fucking money. They blocked me. Like, it was like, dude, it was to the point where I was like, cause it was like emerging brands. I was like, yo, motherfucker, you know, the one. I was just like, it ain't, I took it like, I almost took it to like the street type shit, right? I was just like, what else are you gonna do? You want to play these games? You want to play these games? I was just like, dog, I got a D on my hat. I'm from Detroit.
The only alternate's lawyers, right? And by the time it's all said and done and they get their money, there's nothing left anyway. So I
got a hookup. Yeah. I just more or less, because I got my close friend. Where you at? Oh, close friend, whatever. Anyways, he's doing me a favor. I said I'd rather kick him. I'd rather kick him the fucking 15% of whatever of the one. The one is like, so one is $185,000. Luckily, that one I just gave it was like strictly all through Global Trans, right? I didn't pay any of their bills. Like the other one, I paid their bills. His bills are already paid. I paid them out of my pocket. It was just like, fuck it, I got you.
That's not a small chunk of change either. It's not like
that guy owes me, yeah.
You missed your phone bill or something. We're talking serious money.
Bro, it was insane. I could go into days with that, but it is what it is. Bottom line is, it was my fault. Can't blame anybody. It's not. High hopes, low expectations is what I should have kept saying. And that person's a piece of shit, but it's still my fault. I let it happen. I knew it kept happening. I kept telling myself, he's gonna hook me up with people. He's known in the industry. At the end of the day, dude, that shit, dude, there's a facade going on around. That's what really it started thinking about. There's this facade of like everybody's so love, live, laugh. I'm like, dude, in the back of my head, I was like, I know that motherfucker firsthand isn't like that.
Dirty laundry, yeah. The public image isn't real.
And that's fine, but it's like, dude, that's what it frustrates me. It's like, yo, you are the most grimiest, savage motherfucker out there, and you're about to fucking dude, you got this whole fucking. And then again, goes back to, why the fuck do I care? Right? That's a Mike Neeme issue, not that person's issue. Focus on what you need to focus on, and focusing on why that dude is literally a sociopath is not the issue.
Yeah.
So that's where that is. But told you that was gonna be a rant. But yeah, dude. I mean, it's been a long 6 months of that shit. Just a lot of stuff, man. I brought on small customers that took up so much time. And it sounds bad that I say that, but it was more or less like I just, at the end of the day, I can't be, they're not making me money. And then they started causing me to take time out for every little thing. And it was like, and again, it's still my fault. I could have said, hey, listen, this doesn't work anymore. I could hook you up with someone, plenty of people that will help you. But the thing that got me kind of frustrated was like taking all my time and then ended up being a transactional customer. Like I got one person that I fucking literally bend over backwards for. And then I see in an email, there's an Echo rep in there. I said, hey, are you quoting out? I didn't care, dude. I was almost happy, but I was just like,
I gotta give my piece on that, because that, as you know, that was my world, right? When we were working together, I was brought on for transactional. I accidentally stumbled into some enterprise accounts, and so I've seen both sides of that fence. And there's nothing worse than rolling out the carpet, providing
for someone that makes you no money.
Yes, and the worst part is, again, I think it goes back to why you were frustrated before too, and at least that's why I'm frustrated. If you tell me we are this one thing and this is how it is, only to find out that's not how it was, that's where I lose it. And that's a Connor Bush issue, but that makes me so frustrated, because it's a few things. It's a violation of trust. Also, I can only operate if I know the instructions. If you're telling me it's X, turns out it's Y. And again, you got to grow. You don't get that time back, all that kind of stuff. But I think that's a worthy piece to try to talk about. How did you learn, and how have you gotten better at saying no to those customers, or at identifying who's going to be your time waster? How do you get that filter better?
Different parts of my career. So this part, why was I bringing on smaller customers, right? Well, a couple of them had names, right? And I was like, you know what? So first and foremost, I say I always was, at least I used it in my head. I was like, not Kellogg just didn't become Kellogg. So let's piece this in. I'm going to tell you how I focused on it when I was a sales rep for corporate. And then I'm going to first explain though, how I look at it now. Right. So when I first, started my agency, I said, hey, listen, CPG brands, consumer brands, anywhere between bucket of, it'll say $1 million, should be $5 million to $300 million focus on. Right. Well, but one would come in and they would be, or at least 100 grand in shipping, right? One would come in and it wouldn't be 100 grand. It wouldn't even be 50 grand, and I'd be like, you know what though? Mike, I'd talk to myself, Michael, Kellogg didn't just become Kellogg. They had to start somewhere. Maybe. And but that's fine. Take a couple chances on those people. But you don't have to go get every small person and think, hey, Kellogg just didn't become Kellogg. Listen. So that's one, two.
So you're betting on the upside. You're betting they're going to be a big logo.
At least one of them pops, right? One of them. And then, or it's like they give me exposure. And it's a huge lesson. It's like, that's not happening. People are in it for themselves as much. And that's fine. And that is fine. And that's something that I've always kind of struggled with because I've always liked to put people ahead, right? And people could say they're not, but they are. At the end of the day, me, if it's between you putting food on your plate on your family or getting ahead in life, you're not going to drastically try to hurt me, right? But it's like, if it's going to put you in a better position for you and your family, you're going to do it, right? So you got to think like that. So long story short, I just was like, after all this, I was like, I've been working this like $3 million account, right? And I was like, responding. I've been given too much energy for all this little tedious stuff. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Mike? Get back. Like, you were spending way too much time. And that's kind of where I, again, learned again. I was like, dude, I knew what I was doing wrong. I just needed to keep fucking up. Seems like that's like a thing of my life. And then when I was with corporate, what I knew about it is, it's like, dude, the way I looked at it is we only did sell all in. I wanted, like, when you say set expectations. So it's like, I looked at things like, how did I set those expectations? Clearly, that's what I said is, hey, we get everything. If something comes up, let us know. If price doesn't make sense at some point, let us know. But are we understanding these are the expectations? Here's what we'll meet every month. Look through any, whatever the KPIs were on both ends. We're going to set expectations. If we're hitting them, we keep moving, right? And that's like, dude, you can't force someone, but every buddy I would sign a contract. Obviously, nothing's like, you got to pay me, but at the end of the day, it's like, it says like 60 days. You got to give me a 60-day notice. If you don't want to work with me, I'm not going to, I don't think anybody should make you work with you. But at the end of the day, expectations were set. It's like, bottom line, marriage, dating. Hey, if you want to go sleep around, let me know that.
Just say something.
On the front end, it's like, okay, cool. And then it's my decision if I say, okay, cool. You're a cool person. I don't want nothing serious. You don't want nothing serious. I know where this is. I don't have a right to ever get mad at you, or, you know what I mean? It's like, if I see you with another guy,
be up front and be clear.
Yeah. If I see you with another guy and I get mad, that's on me. You set that expectation. You let me know. But if we're dating and we already had if we had clear expectations, like, hey, listen, I'm going to date you. You're going to date me. Let's keep it exclusive. Things come up. Let me know. Obviously, that's work-wise, dating-wise, shit happens. But you get where I'm going with it. It's like, I think that with anything, that's what you should have. Just clear expectations. I didn't care either way. I just needed to know knowing what's going on and where both sides are at is crucial.
Super crucial. I think, and you said it, surprises will happen, but what can we do that we can control to make that as minimal as possible? And it sounds like you got surprised a lot, but you learned from it, right? I think that's the takeaway for me, at least, is it's okay to fuck up. But if you fuck up the same thing again and again and again, there's something going on there.
I wasn't even fucking up. I just wasn't thinking. I was like, dude, I'll be honest, that past year, I was just like sales. And I've done it so much that it's like ingrained, right? I know what I'm doing, but I don't. But it's like with those, I was just like slow the fuck. Like with the bigger ones, I needed to slow. I just got to slow down, take a deep breath, and get back on track, right? It was more or less. I was just running. I was just running and thinking,
like autopilot kind of thing, or like just doing the training that you've had, or.
I was just like simply because it felt good that I didn't have to, because on the first year of me starting Midwest Consulting, I did $2.6 million myself. I dealt with everything from operations. Like, yeah, Global Trans was dealing with some things, but like I was dealing with everything.
Well, that was my next question. What? Because I remember seeing your post and being like, not shocked, because I think I knew you always had it, but I was like, damn, Mike. Like when I learned how big that first year went for you, was there any major changes you made going into this new year? Did you hire people? Did you expand to a new territory? Like what, or
no.
It was not too big that it couldn't scale anymore? What was the change?
So here's the thing. I'll say this: 2.7 million is nothing in a sale. If I was working for corporate,
Yep.
I was actually, again, I didn't patted my back and moved on to the next thing, but doing it all, running everything. I'm like, dude, I have only sold strategic consultant type sales. I've never had to deal with the granular, never been a carrier rep, never done that. So I was dealing with some of these things, like everything, right? Yeah, Global Trans had some back end work, but like, dude, at the end of the day, I'm not letting people that I don't know firsthand dictate my paycheck. So it's crazy, right? I was like, but here's the best part. But it was everybody I had. It was tight, dude. I ran it like I always would run things, right? In corporate. I was very involved in every single one of my accounts. I always made it consistent to have account reviews. For the first 3 months, I was meeting with you. The first 2 weeks we do business, we're having a 2-week review. I'm talking to everybody that touches it, accounting. Listen, I sell to the CEO. Cool. We have our monthly meeting. We don't got to talk chit chat unless, and if we become friends, great, depending on the size of the company. But most times I was selling to larger old school CEOs where it's like, they don't want to be my friends. But again, I have that relationship. But my goal was to always be talking to people that have something to do with my business, right? Or they could say, accounting could say, I hate the billing. I don't want to deal with him anymore. Shipping could say, fuck this. I want to make sure everybody's communicating, right? One, it's going to make things stickier. You're going to be able to pick out things more. But two, it's going to, what it's going to do is when someone calls on them, I'm always in their head. I got a rep. You ever call someone and say I got a rep? So nothing really changed there. But here's what happened is I just sold before I even was thinking about bringing someone on. I sold almost $1 million. I brought on another $1 million kicking off the new year of 2021. And I had other in the pipe. And I was just like, dude, I'm never going to be I have to build out a team. I could sell. The selling's easy. I'm to the point where I can't sell anymore. I have to focus. I'm doing operations, and listen, I can learn it. I'm not going to bitch about it, but I'm not that guy. I say it all the time. I'm more creative. I'm more go. I'm more like, let's get I'm sales. I'm a salesperson through and through. I think big picture. I think differently. And I've always had success when I've always brought operations people that were very like in my sales meetings. People, it's unheard of for people like in a corporate setting to bring operations people to meetings, especially where I was at. They were like, I mean, I brought my accounts credit payable person with me to my meeting because guess what? Everybody, I want people involved that are better than me, right? I know what I can put things together. I'm a liaison. I think about business, how businesses ran. But if without them, I have nothing, right? So I thought to myself, I was like, I need someone completely opposite of me that can run everything, can do it. Let me scale this thing like crazy and make sure everything's running smoothly. You do what you're best at, and you find people to do what they're best at. So, yeah, I haven't told this story, dude. I mean, so I meet this. I don't need to say the name. It is what it is, right? But I meet this guy. He was, we had this account. They were a carrier direct. He was like a broker for them. He worked on their asset and non-asset. He was helping me with this large account that I brought on, right? But from that company, I made him an email. I was like, dude, I started bringing on other accounts, like truckload accounts. And he was like helping me with that. And I was like, dude, it was more or less, I didn't even think about anything besides like, oh my God, he's freeing my time up. This guy's great. He didn't. So I brought him on. I literally did. I gave him 50% of everything. He brought nothing on.
Wow.
He had expectations, and it's my fault, dude. Again, at the end of the day, I knew things were going wrong the first month I brought him on. I said, hey, run account reviews. So I was proud of myself because I delegated everything. I said, fuck it. Don't be involved. Let him do it. Never got reports. Customers were complaining. Every time I was losing customers. It was just very, he was a great dispatcher and great customer service, not a vice president of operations of Midwest Consulting.
Okay.
So it just got to the point where, it is what it is. It ended up first of the year, and it ended up being really pretty. He did some pretty fucked shit. And it is what it is. We just learning experience, but yeah, it definitely cost me. And what I learned from that is I should have went with my gut in the beginning and cut it and slowed the roll, ended that relationship a month on. As much, but I was I was personally involved. I felt bad if I let him go. So that's where that was.
Yeah. More. I mean, no one asked for it, but I'll give my nuggets there that I picked up on. Super best practice. And this is me being my corporate side here. Mike, it sounds like you were a badass person of multi-threading. I just want to throw that lesson out because I've gotten bit in the ass. I was always taught by my friend Midwest Consulting to sell to the highest level you can. And a lot of the times that bit me in the butt because I only sold to the CEO or I only sold to the owner. They say you're all in. And then later, like you said, accounting hates you or shipping hates you or something happens. Someone comes in and you got the ultimate, yes, you think you're good, but all the people running the day-to-day turn on you. So props to you for the massive multi-threading. I think I imagine a lot of salespeople will see this. Our network's full of a lot of salespeople. So that's a big nugget right there.
Well, here's what I'll say to that. Because I'm that guy. It was that like in the beginning was like, I saw, but I've had plenty of times. I remember this one accounting specifically, 2015, Marysville, Michigan. We could say, so I set the meeting with the CEO, or CFO, excuse me, on a cold call too. It was like, they did about $400,000 in LTL inbound. It's been in our CRM. Other people in my company tried to sell it. That you see, read notes. Shipping manager fucking hates 3PLs. Nobody could get the CFO. I set this meeting with the CFO. Super dude. It was like Marysville, Michigan, or like Marine City. It's like boaters. This CFO comes out, has shorts on. It's 2. He's like, I'm about to leave. What's up? Like, dude, it was just like, I was like, I'm in a suit. I'm like, yo, let's meet. So we end up meeting, and the prime exam, I sold this deal, but look how shitty this went. So we're in the meeting, and you could just tell we could help them out. And I remember the CFO brings the invoices to the meeting, and we're like, if we could save you 10% and do X, Y, Z for you guys, I don't know his name, but I was like, are you willing to make the switch? And his shipping manager is right next to him, and he's just looking at me and my manager were next to each other. I was about a year on, just looking at us like, I fucking hate you guys. Like, we could help him, just hated us. And he goes, well, we'll see. The shipping manager and the CFL goes, that's why I thought we had a champ. He goes, if they can save us 10%, we're fucking switching. Didn't say fuck it. Yeah. Saved them 12%, sold the deal, set them up. They stopped using us after a week. That guy literally sabotaged. He just hated us. He hated us. And the 12% of $400,000 or $500,000 wasn't enough for that CFO to give 2 shits about if he's going to have a guy that's been there for 20 years bitching. Yeah. And that's that's the biggest thing that people, even myself, forgot about is like, yes, unless you are literally drastic, like there's cutthroat people. Like I love PE people because they don't give 2 shits. Yeah. They're doing it regardless. But dude, at the end of the day, unless it's like drastically impacting the company, if you can't get, you need the DM, you need that executive level. But if everyone else isn't happy, chances are you ain't gonna keep that deal long.
For me and everyone else watching, what's PE people?
Oh, private equity.
Okay, yeah. They just want the numbers. Yeah,
those are the best. I love, dude. That's a whole. We can talk about that topic later. But those are the guys. Like thinking about it, it's like you think I'm so emotional, but it's like from a selling standpoint, that's the type of people I like to fuck with. Like it's just like boom, 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 boom. Mike, yep. They taught me a bunch. It made me less emotional.
Yeah.
I started realizing, I was like, dude, these people, they're doing business with me because I'm providing something for them. And maybe even outside of value, I was like, they just want some guy that they can use to get shit done. That was really, I was like, and that's how it's like, I don't know. I think everything should be like that. It's like, don't get emotions. It's kind of, it's kind of weird. It's like, dude, I don't care if you can help me. I don't care if as long as I don't like have to deal with you and I don't drastically hate you. Fuck it, dude. If you're helping me, let's go.
That's a whole, that could be an entire topic of itself for a whole show, because you have the people who are like, selling should just be about value, just be about what you can bring to the table. And then you have all the people like, oh no, it should all be relationships. And I feel like that's a hard line either side. But the second nugget I grabbed that I just want to kind of would be interested for you to expand upon is when you said you knew something was up the first month. Did you know from an emotional side, like a gut feeling, or was it more of like a
numbers
on the wall? Numbers?
No, here's the emotional side. I still look at some of these things, emails, and I'm like, what the fuck is this person doing? And again, it sounds like, oh, I'm blaming everything. Dude, it's my own fault. Maybe I don't know. Blame me, right? That's like blame. But I remember looking at from when the first month I brought him on after, I was like, what is he doing with his time? Like his whole goal was truckload, right? Because LTL, most of my customers were already booking all their LTL. So he wasn't having to
trans like through your portal or whatever.
Yeah. And we were still that first month, we were still opted in for truckload. So they were like getting the quotes for us for truckload.
Okay.
So I was like, dude, so any account, like the smaller accounts that he had to like deal with, like, so basically it came down to he spent, if you do 8 hours a day, he spent 8 hours a day for, he was averaging 3 shipments. That was LTL and truckload, 3 shipments a week he had to deal with for the first month. That's what he spent his time on. And I went from, it was like the first, what is it? He got on late April. So let's just say mid-April to June is the report. I was down in revenue and margin by like 22% revenue and like 10% margin. I explained it to him. I got the videos, but I was soft, dude. I was just loving that I didn't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it. I'm selling. I could keep replacing what he's losing.
Okay.
And it was just like, it just got to the point where I was like, we got in some big deals, truckload deals. And here's the thing is, I'm pretty operationally mindset for a salesperson, right? If I am more operationally back end doing things better than the person I need to be having to do that, it's not a good fit.
No,
and that's my fault. That's my fault for even doing that, right? But at the end of the day, I remember I had a conversation with one of my mentors. He's like, yeah, dude, you can't have that. If you need someone that's truly going to be running your entire business from an operational standpoint, you shouldn't even be able to, half the things he talks about shouldn't even be able to, like, you shouldn't even be on the level he's on, or she. So dude, I got no bad blood on him, nothing like that. I hope he finds his way. But
it sounds like lesson learned. Unfortunately, it was an expensive lesson. But hey, here's my last question on this piece, and we can jump the topic. What are you gonna do next? What's the rebuilding? What's the restructuring? What's the next 12 months got?
Slow. Not hurting for money, so I'm good there. I don't know, man. I just kind of, I really did lose I just kind of lost all like kind of momentum. It's funny is I was always like, I don't think it's burnout, but I was just like, man, I don't know if I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to, I don't know. I know that.
That's okay.
Yeah. I just don't know. I can tell you this, like I had to slow. I know myself and I have to like, I can I can keep running, right? I'm good at what I'm good at, and that's selling. But that's not going to scale, right? So I actually, but I will tell you, I am 100% in on growing this and building my own business. And my goal is to sell it. I want to get it to at least, I know if I had the right person on the back end, we could scale this thing. Sales is the easy part. I could grow a sales team to 50 million in 5 years. So I was thinking about going over to a startup, being head of their sales, right? Logistics company. When I sat there and saw what and I started giving myself less credit of what I fucking did, right? And it was almost like it felt like they were too. And then I realized I was flying home and I realized I said, bro, you're sharper than these fucking people. Listen, this might sound arrogant, but you weren't in the situation, right? You built yourself single-handedly put on over $6 million in business in less than 2 years to what that company is doing in 3 years with massive amounts of funding and a fucking team. You got nobody. You took your buddy gave you $7,000 for 3 months starting out. So I was like doubting myself. And then dude, it was funny is because the guy that one of my best friends, I was like, dude, I'll give you more money. Give me a piece of your, and he was like, dude, I will back you to anything. Dude, do it. But it's like, it was funny is on that flight home, he was flying in to go snowboarding and we talked about it, but I was like, that's where I realized, fuck a corporate, fuck working for anybody else, right? Nothing against them, but it was like, it made me think, it was like, dude, don't ever doubt that. Like, I can't believe I doubted myself at that point, right? I was like, man, it was what I needed to get myself back on track to say, sometimes you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, you're a badass motherfucker. You have to have that conversation and call it arrogant, call it what you will, but you have to have that fucking confidence and know who you are. Listen, I'm self-aware. I know I have a ton of flaws, but I was lacking confidence extremely, and that was hurting me 100%. So I needed that. I remember they sat in front of me talking about pay. One of the founders was like, well, I could probably give you like $80,000. I remember I looked at them, Connor, money isn't everything, but like I looked at them, bro. I looked at them. I said, I have not made $80,000 since 2014. Like
this was for a head of sales role.
Yeah. So then it was like, dude, here's what I said is there was a senior vice president of sales there. And then I started like, again, great guy. But it was like, I was like, man, I've climbed that corporate ladder. I've been reported to us. Fuck this. I'm definitely so, but you know what? I came back, still thought about it, sent him an email. I gave him like a proposition, what I wanted equity and all this. This is what nailed it in the coffin for me, that how you respond to certain things just shows your character.
Yep. I
don't get a phone call, nothing. I get an email, Mike, we're not going to move forward with you. But dude, no. My mind was already made up, right? I know it probably sounds like I have an ego about that, but it's like, no, my mind was made up. But I thought about this. I sat back, I said, thank God.
Yeah.
That's what I would have, like, dude.
Bullet dodge.
You couldn't even pick up the fucking phone and be like, yo, like we knew each other prior to this, right? We've always talked here and there.
Okay.
Not like close. I met them in a pandemic, but I was like, when that happened, I was like, wow. I was like, what? I was like, dude, you got a lot of like, dude, that's a bad characteristic trait to have.
Yeah.
Unless it's me.
But yeah, right. Before we get away from it though, on the note of the confidence, the note of the telling yourself you're a fucking badass, I'm really glad you talked about that, because I think, whether it's just coming of age, I'm 30 now, or whether it's just where I'm at in my career, or the pandemic making us all look into ourselves more, imposter syndrome. That's what that is for a lot of people. Is you tell yourself, I'm not this big title that I have, or I'm not as whatever my results. But if you said your strategy was just like looking at yourself like, Mike, I'm a badass. I was at some like online seminar thing last week, and they had it's like their own personal hype folder. But whatever the strategy is, so they have a folder on their desktop, they click it up, and it's like their President's Club award, their 140% of quota numbers. Like, and I think it's important for everyone to remind ourselves, because especially with the pandemic, especially with work from home, There's no water cooler. There's no standings on your company wall. It's hard for a lot of people to say I am this badass person in my career that I am. So I'm really happy you touched on that, because that was something that I was dealing with in the past year, and I think it's something that a lot of people deal with and just don't say anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're spot on. I mean, and you has to, and I know they say you are who you hang out with, right? Obviously, the pandemic. This goes for the pandemic and not being able to see people in person, but seeing who your social media network is a direct impact on you. I thought about it today. Think about this. I thought about it today. I had more people reach out to me that I don't even fucking know, wanting to help, generally wanting to fucking help me with what I asked them, right? None of those people were my so-called people that tag me all the time, people to do this. And this isn't what it was me. It was wake the fuck up. And I started, dude, I've been thinking a lot today, and I was like, you kind of know, and dude, it is what it is, right? I've had people, close people of mine, be those people, right? And it is what it is. But it's bro, it even to someone that isn't like the fucking fluff, toxic positivity type of dude, you can get sucked into those people, especially on social media and LinkedIn, like crazy, that you're living in a fucking fantasy. Like, straight up, like, you start becoming those fucking people. And you start, like, again, this is for me. I'm speaking personally. And it's my own issues, right? Dude, I'm the weak one. And I always say that I'm the weak one for letting myself turn like that. But it's more or less like, I just felt like I was like, what the fuck, man? This isn't me. You start becoming less confident. Because you're hanging around people that are literally yes men. Or you're hanging around people that are losers, make you feel like you're cocky. Fucking winners make you feel like you're a fucking winner and push you. Like, I'm speaking personally.
High school sports. If you put a freshman on the varsity team, more often than not, they'll play up. They'll play better.
Always. And like, if someone really wants to improve.
Yeah. And you said, it's just for you personally, but I would argue it's for most people. You are the sum of the 5 or 10 closest people you spend your time with. But where I think you're insightful that I never picked up on, that goes for the internet as well. I always took that physically people around me but no,
we don't see as many. For 2 years probably we didn't see anybody. But like these
reading the same garbage posts or good posts.
It's good. It's cancer, dude. I was literally losing my mind. Dude, again, it goes back into that's clearly an issues on my end, right? If I can't control that, but it was like, it was getting to the point where I was like, oh my fucking God, dude, I need to find some, dude, even now I was like, I need to find some fucking content. Like I have mentors and whatnot, but I needed to grow. I needed to fucking do something. I was reading, I was doing all this, but nobody was literally fucking Justin Welsh, shout out to him, truly impactful. I'm connected with him now, but this Alex Hamosi, he's like 32, $100 million. Bro, I'm like a stalker, but I've been like, I don't know, man. Things have just been clicking, but I've been watching some shit. Like, don't know him, don't at all. I've never met him, never talked to him. We just connected. I found him on fucking Instagram, or on Instagram. I found him on YouTube, but this is like, even if I'm not fucking gonna ever have a personal conversation with him, I need, from an internet standpoint, that's what I need to be consuming. Because one video of 6 minutes of watching something like that has impacted some drastic things I'm doing.
That's huge. Then
fucking battling someone about a fucking truckload rate. Like, dude, I'm just venting right now. 2 dudes, no script. My therapist is out. but it's like, I'm venting right now, but it's like, that's like, I crave that shit, dude. I crave like fucking someone to push me, or I crave to be schooled by someone that actually can. But it's not the fucking smart ass guy that thinks he's the shit. Yes, that's it. I get grumpy when I'm not, dude, it's crazy. I get fucking like a dick. When I'm not
full circle, man. When you said at the very beginning that it was like dating, right? I think first of all that dating is a fantastic analogy for sales, for career, whatever. But I'm thinking of the relationships that I've had in my past when nothing drove me. Again, it's a me issue. Getting way too deep. My therapist is also out, but nothing drove me crazier than the relationships where the girl was like, "You're perfect. Don't change. I love everything about you." I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself. Not really everyone. I'm not gonna kill me, but like I got so sick of that. Everyone telling you you're perfect, you're great, don't change, you're just fine. I don't need that. I need someone to say you have potential. You could be better. You should get more. We could do bigger things. And that's how I want to be surrounded online with a group of people saying you get a trophy, you're the best. You get a trophy, and that's fine. There's a time and a place for that, but that's not for me. And I think it's important, and I really want to highlight it. Everyone, go clean your Instagram connections, clean your LinkedIn connections, clean your YouTube channels. Because I didn't even realize on LinkedIn, half the people I had set follow, I never actually did that. It was just prioritized. And that content you're seeing all day is going to set your mentality and I think make you or break you personally. So I'm really glad you touched on that.
Yeah. I mean, don't consume shit. If you just said it, you basically
that's the episode.
Shout out to, I can't even pronounce his last name, but Mosey Nation, I love you. I'm a creep. You're the man. I wear only flannels now because that's all you wear. I'm gonna eventually buy $300 flannels like you do and fill them out. Dude, you gotta check him out. This dude literally he gained like 35 pounds of muscle. Damn. In 6 weeks. He ate. He did it like he was like no. There was like, I'll paraphrase. Someone said, you can't gain 35 pounds of muscle in 6 weeks or something like that. And his whole thought was like, I think you could do anything in what you think you can't do if you had to do it, right? Like, meaning if your kids were getting like held hostage, right? And they were going to die if you didn't do something, I bet you would spend every last minute in the gym gaining. So he did it for 6 weeks, dude. Gained 35 pounds. Obviously, there was some fat, but dude, he was pounding out fucking. He said he worked out, I think it was like 4 or 5 hours a day in the gym, worked out every single day, but I think the same muscles.
What's his YouTube called? I want to look it up.
It's just Alex Hermo. It's just look up Alex with an H, and he's coming up. He's like 30.
Oh, here we go. Hormozy,
yeah. So, anyways, jacked as fuck, dude. Cool story with his wife too. They met. They were like, anyways, I'm not gonna get into that, but dude, 800 grams of fucking carbs he was pounding a day. Anyways, dude, the guy's super sharp. Kind of like, dude, he's just, his insight on things is for, at least for me, very. It's just I needed to see something like that. It's been a minute since I've seen any pieces of content that actually makes me want to go, makes me actually start implementing a few things, or as he would say, stop doing certain things. It's not about, dude, he's the fucking man, dude. I'm telling you. Last thing. So I was listening to one of his podcasts yesterday, and it was like, it's not about what you need to do, it's what you don't need to do. And I was like, oh my fucking God. I'm part of the Mosey Nation. I'm like sitting here with a fucking sign. Woo! No, but it was so true.
Everyone, this is actually an Alex Hormozy tangent podcast.
No, but seriously, it was. And when that line hit, I was like, dude, it's something so simple. But I was like, that is so fucking true. I don't need to do more. I need to do less of the shit that's not getting me to where that's keeping me away from doing more. Like he even said, he's a fit guy, right? 18 months to get to becoming a millionaire. What he did was he didn't even work out all the time. He worked out twice a week because that wasn't a priority. And I know people, you think about it, everyone's like health. He did it to maintain where he was at, didn't need to grow, but he was cutting out things that didn't get him to what was the most important thing. Whatever that is for anybody. And I was just like, and obviously that sounds so clean, or not really though. It's like the way he said it, I was like, dude, that's You know what I mean? It's like we want to be. It's like
most people don't. I think for me, it's a unique perspective. People think, what other thing do I need? What's going to be the difference maker? What can I add? But very rarely.
Let's set up a fucking priorities. I'm going to work out at 4 a.m. Stop wasting. You only have so much energy, right? It's like, dude, be healthy. Don't. It's not like fuck it. But if what you want, focus on what's important. Yeah. And if it doesn't align with that for now, don't do it. And I was just like, that's so. Stop doing shit. Instead of adding more shit, stop or take shit off the plate.
Take inventory. What's not serving your purpose? That's
so massive. I mean, it was. I could go on and on. Again, I don't know the fucking guy. I just think he is.
Not yet. He'll be on next week. No.
Yeah. Right. No. I mean, dude.
I do want to take a second as we're closing out to shout out some other unofficial sponsors. If you're trying to take more things away. Please look up lavender.ai, unofficial sponsor, Will Allred. And why I talk about that is when you're sending an email, how many letters and sentences can you delete but still have your message? Talk about taking things away and how to get better. Yeah. If you have 500 words, can you get to 50?
What is it called?
Have the same clear message. Lavender.ai. It's a free plugin or you can pay for it. It is the only sales tool that I pay for out of my own pocket because that's how badass it is. Also, check out Scott Leese, Richard Harris, Wayne Morris, some good people, Amy Volas, who are doing bigger things by seeing what they can take away. Mike, any sponsors from your end unofficially?
Yeah. I mean, I shout out Lead Jet. Baddest ass. I shouted him out. Don't know him, but baddest platform when it comes into integrating your current CRM into your LinkedIn, meaning you can literally run, dude. It's so fucking. It is literally. I have saved
Lead Jet,
but Lead Jet, dude. It literally, it literally connects. I use Pipe Drive, right? I used HubSpot for a year. It is what it is. Pipe Drive is super simple. Does what I need to do. Integrates with things I need to integrate into. But it integrated it. So basically, I run my CRM through LinkedIn, like a true CRM, and everything gets kicked back. And then again, I use Seamless AI, which is connected. So I have Seamless AI, which is like Zoom info, connected to my Pipe Drive, connected to Lead Jet. Everything's running through LinkedIn.
All right, everybody, no excuses. You can also build a $6 million pipeline on those 3 tools. That's the episode. Boom.
Boom.